Hello everybody and welcome back to TTL. Round number 15 takes us... Okay, my name is Kieran McGinley and joining me in the commentary box is Noah. Hi Noah.
Hi.
How are you today?
Pretty.
Great stuff, and Malaysia always throws up a little bit of weather. We'll get onto that in just a second. In the meantime though, we're going to have a look at the driver standings. So at the top of the table is Blizzard on 225, Darren Sinclair is second on 200, Draw is in third on 167, Lambo in fourth on 143, Spike is in fifth on 126, Siege is in sixth on 84 points, Squeezy is in seventh on 61, Maze in eighth on 56, Technique is in ninth on 51, The Gore is in 10th on 49 points. And we have Light E in 11th on 45, Steph in 12th on 42, Weed Nation's 13th on 33, Frank is 14th on 24, Ollie is 15th on 23, Crazy Legs 16th on 22, Poe is 17th with 18 points, Fletcher is 18th on 15 points, Alan 19th on 11 points, Humbug is 20th on 8 points. And then we have Plaster in 21st on 3 points. Pazels and Sean tied 22nd on 2 points. Blood and Sand and Z3 tied 24th on 1 point. And then moving on to the constructors. Haas are at the top of the table on 261. Williams are in second on 226. Sauber are in third on 196. Force India are fourth on 185. McLaren are fifth on 157. Red Bull sixth on 129. Mercedes are seventh on 105. Ferrari are eighth on 70 points. Renault in ninth on 53. And Toro Rosso are at the bottom of the table with 30 points. So looking at the track today then, 15 corners around Sepang would be probably the penultimate time TTL will be visiting the Malaysia circuit, as obviously F1 2018 won't have Malaysia anymore. We'll instead move to the Paul Ricard circuit in France. So for the penultimate time, these 15 corners will give us an exciting race with weather always a challenge and always on the horizon there. We've got... a couple of overtaking zones, especially turns 1 and 2. It's very easy to try and go down the inside going into turn 1, but on the turn 2 you'll be around the outside, so it's very difficult to make that move stick. Heading up into turn 4, up the hill and to the right, get the inside line and get the traction absolutely spot on. That's a great overtaking opportunity. Down into turn 9 then as well is a great overtaking opportunity, but it cambers away from you as you head up the hill towards turn 10, where you have to watch out for the oversteer. And turn 15, if you're brave enough, after that DRS zone coming towards turn 15 down the inside, always a good overtaking opportunity. 2 DRS zones then, one along the start finish straight and then another one along the back straight heading towards that final hairpin. And Noah, we were talking about how changeable the weather conditions are at Malaysia, and we are expecting rain during the race. How do you think that's going to affect the drivers out there?
Well, I think we may see some people trying different strategies, like trying just to go on hards until the rain hits, and then go on intermediates, and that might work well with them. For the leaders, they might try to go on a softer compound tire, and then try to move to the hards and then the intermediate. A bunch of different strategies today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we saw in Canada there was the same 3 blocks of basically dry, wet to dry. And towards the end of the race there, the drivers were thinking there's no way they can go on a set of soft tyres, or dry tyres in fact. Could we be seeing the same today?
Yes, there's a big possibility.
Yeah, it's always interesting when you get sort of the rain halfway through and you're not quite sure towards the end of the race whether or not to go onto those dry tyres. It'll be interesting then to see what happens during the race then. And it has to be said that, we'll say this in advance, that the internet connection is a little shaky. I don't know about your end, Noah, but I'm getting red blocks all the way around on the drivers right now.
Yeah,
so
I'm getting red block all the way around too.
So I'm glad it's not just me then. Seems to be a server issue, which is, well, not that shocking in fairness. But yeah, hopefully this won't affect us too much. Again, on the stream as well, you may experience some buffering. Just drop down to 480p. You should be fine after that if you have to. But yeah, I think in terms of, yeah, because I've just seen on the live control room that the stream state is just red and it says bad. So if you are struggling to hear us, tune it down to 480p, and you should be able to hear us in all our glory. And hopefully it won't affect us too much. Again, apologies for that. There's not a lot I can do on my end at the moment. So yeah, it's been a while for me. Back from my little bit of a break. Hopefully I'll be straight back into it like nothing ever happened, and I hope you're the same too, Noah.
Yep.
Great stuff. Well, we've got 7 drivers ready and a load of red bars around here. It's not looking great. Oh, that's going to be very interesting. So we may have cars in the wall when they're not actually in the wall. I mean, it always offers an interesting race then if there's lag involved. But yeah, we should be very interesting.
And adding the possible lag and rain, who do you think might thrive through these rainy conditions and maybe take the lead, or do you think we're just going to be seeing the same leader this whole race?
Well, Malaysia is always an interesting circuit. I remember racing in one of the leagues as well, when the rain came down towards the end of the race, and it was, you know, thunderstorm basically. So yeah, it's the thing about Malaysia is that the track doesn't dry that quickly. The sort of hot weather misleads you, and it's not great at draining all that water away. So if it does rain, we're probably going to see it take a while before the rain actually does clear. It's not the most challenging of circuits in the dry, but in the wet, that's where we're going to see the sweat bands come out, and drivers really having to concentrate as they head towards this race. Then here we go then, 20 drivers in this lobby. I think we're going to for some good action then. Blizzard and Darren Sinclair then will be hot on each other's tail, of course. Blizzard a 25-point lead, and that's saying a lot because last time I was here, I believe the gap was 38 points. So in 2 races then, if that's even possible, I do not know. But yeah, it should be a good race. Thank you, Z3. It's great to be back. I hope the stream is good on your end as well. Obviously, if it's not, drop down to 480p, and you should be able to watch us from there. So, Malaysia then, 6 rounds to go, and a gap of 25 points at the top. Darren Sinclair has been leading this race as a go that he's not made it easy for himself, but he's going to do it. And well, it's hard to ignore those words, Noah. Now.
Yes, I would definitely be worried if I was Darren Sinclair, because he has just been having so much momentum lately. I would be figuring out where I could gain every 10th, 1,000th of a second just to try to beat him, because he needs every win and every point possible at this point of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're loading now into Malaysia, and those clouds are looming. We are expecting a dry qualifying. That's what the forecast says. So we should be looking at those regular 2 stints here, and it's getting all of these graphics back up after a week and a bit break. It's good to be back in the commentary box though. Yeah.
But going on to qualifying, who is your pick for a pole for qualifying?
I think it's always been an occasion that Darren Sinclair seems to struggle during the mid-season. This sort of doesn't play to his strengths. So I'm expecting Blizzard to grab pole, but I think Darren Sinclair is always full of surprises. He can always pull out a lap time when he needs to. So it's going to be a very interesting qualifying session. Of course, a load of drivers could surprise us as well. Siege, who is currently best of the rest so far, could surprise us with a quick lap time. We'll just have to wait and see, Noah, in this qualifying session that I hope is going to surprise us.
My qualifying pick has to be Myers. He just showed so much consistency last week. It's just hard to go against dude. Maybe he can have some momentum carrying over from last race and just maybe get pole for this race.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we'll have to see. Pretty much, we've got half the field, more than half the field now, out on track trying to set some lap times. You can see how much traffic there is out there. The only people who haven't left their pits yet are Ollie, Siege, Steph, the Gort and Maze. 15 drivers out on track trying to fight for some space. And it's interesting to see here, Damien here is out on a set of soft tyres, as is Ollie. So it'd be interesting to see then what sort of lap times they can set in this session.
And I think we can be seeing some strategy call already unwinding in qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be tricky then, because obviously the drivers know that the middle stint is where the rain's coming, but they don't know when. So here's the interesting thing. Do you slap on a set of soft tyres, try and get into the top 10 and make those soft tyres last until the rain comes down, as the little bit of lag we have there sends Ollie inboard and see, oh no, getting a little bit of motion sickness there. We'll just have to cope with the lag as best we can here. But yeah, so do you put on a set of soft tyres and hope the rain comes when your tyres are shot?
I'd say you'd have to just play it smart, and it all just depends on where you qualify. If you in my opinion, if you qualify outside of the top 10, yes, you probably would want to gamble and take risk and maybe just start on the soft tires. But if you're well inside the top 5, I think you just try playing it smart and start on some soft compounds, get a good lead pull away, and then just come in when the time comes and just play your strategy smart.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always tricky when there is rain right in the middle of the race, and then it is supposed to dry up, of course. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting race, I think. We've got a couple of drivers who are not here. Of course, the reserves fill their place. That's why we get 20 drivers in this session. So yeah, hopefully we can get through all the internet troubles and get ourselves a fantastic race, Noah.
Yes, I am really hoping for a fantastic race. And with everyone almost out on the track already, it's like more traffic than an Elway freeway, but they are just coping with it nice, and they are nice and spread apart.
Absolutely. Well, Squeezy is the first person to set a lap time, 1:31.9, as Spike decides to abandon his lap. Traw sets a 1:31.6. There's a load of drivers here abandoning laps. That's interesting then. We have, who's that coming towards the line? That was Darren Sinclair, who sets a 1:31.7. We'll have to look, see where Blizzard is out on track. Well, he's coming towards 13 now, coming towards 14 now. As we have Crazy Legs 1:32.4 and Lambo up into second place with a 1:31.7. Plaster goes P6 with a 1:34.0. Technic Gaming 1:31.6. Light E 1:31.9 as a Toro Rosso goes off in the background there. That is Damien who went off there. And he'll set a 1:37.4, but of course that's not representative of his lap time there. Ollie there on the soft tyres at 1:33.5 with Poe 1:32.4, and that's exactly what Ollie needs right now. He just needs to be in that top 10 on those soft tyres. We've got Siege now heading towards the line, third place in the championship. Where can he go in qualifying today? 1:31.7 puts him up into P4. So not bad for Siege then. So we've got Weed Nation.
And it looked like Raw and Technique are running very similar lap times. Raw are just 7/1000th of a second faster and on provisional pole.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a close race. The top 5 there, I believe, separated by just under 0.2 of a second. So incredibly close field today. Of course, we've got the second round of laps to go, of course. So here comes Weed Nation towards the line. And what lap time can he set? He goes P12, 1:33.2. And we have Steph here, who is just starting a flying lap. And everybody else then seems to be completing a lap or heading back towards the pit lane, except for Spike, who's decided to come out on a fresh set of super soft tyres. And you can see there, Noah, Ollie now down into 13th place. He might have to come out now on a set of super soft tyres just to get himself competitive.
Yes, because I think granted this track is big and wide, I still think that you need a good starting spot at the track. A good starting spot always helps on these kind of tracks, because you do not want to be stuck back on the first lap, because there is just always chaos on the first lap, no matter what. And I would not want to be the one getting front wing damage or being taken out of the race, as we saw at Belgium.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully we won't see too much of that today. But there we are. Hopefully, again, the stream is okay on your end. As, yeah, hopefully it's alright. But if not, guys, obviously just drop it down to 480p if you need to watch this race. It seems like we've got internet trouble all around here today, so we'll do our best as Steph here decides to abandon his lap then and heads back towards the pit lane. So at the moment then, Blizzard tops the leaderboard with a 131.5. Troy is in second, Technique in third. That's your top three so far, as Maze is currently out on track here as he looks to try and get himself always consistent. Maze, as he'll look for another points finish for Mercedes today. Spike on a flying lap.
And Maze is just so smooth with the driving style too, and he's just such a good and calm driver.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Spike here then, heading towards this sort of sweeping left and then right of turns 5 and 6, and then you head towards the double apex of 7 and 8 here. You need to really hit that curb on the 7 there, and then obviously the curb on 8 tries to throw you off. But now heading down towards turn 9. Very easy to lock up going into turn 9, and then trying to get the exit of turn 10 spot on as well as the car tries to oversteer away. It's always very tricky, that section. And then once you make it past there, it's a little bit easier, I would say. It's pretty much flat out, and then you've got the horrible braking zone as you head through 13 and then through 14. You can see there Spike struggling to keep the back end in check there as he opens the DRS. Well, he's got to complete this lap, surely. Has not set a lap time yet, Spike, but if I notice, he is not happy with that lap at all and has come back in to put on a fresh set of tyres and have one more go.
And it looks like Plaster just went wide on one of his laps and he's got in the grass and he aborted that lap.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like, is he out of fuel there? Yes, he is out of fuel, Plaster, as he heads towards the pits. So not the end of the world there. He's recovered. He might have just enough time to wheel himself in and get himself back out on track. But of course, Spike has just come in, so the team will take slightly longer for him to actually service him. Squeezy Lemon then, no doubt about it, he is going to set a flying lap here. Damien, where is he? Yep, he's going to come around the hairpin again. He is going to be there with plenty of time. We've got yellow flags in sector 1 here. I believe that is just someone getting out of the way. I think it was Siege, I think. No, it wasn't. It was the other McLaren. But yeah, it always throws me off sometimes, those yellow flags, but it's actually just cars getting out of the way.
And TTL Myers goes 10th with that lap, 8/10 off the pace.
Yeah, he might not get a chance at another run here. Lighty there, starting a new flying lap, as Squeezy Lemon is on his as he heads towards turn 9. Again, yellow flags in sector 1. That just looks like cars getting out of the way. Be interesting to see here Troy as well. Can he get in front of Blizzard? We've got Technique Gaming as well starting a flying lap with 1 minute and 30 seconds on the clock. Lambo out there, as is Siege. Darren Sinclair currently 6th place at the moment. He'll be hoping for a lot better than that heading into the final quarter of the season. And he'll head towards the line now to start his flying lap. One and only attempt here for Darren Sinclair. Blizzard might have the same idea here. He's going to leave it very late though, Blizzard, because he's currently coming through turn, I believe that's 7 and 8, so he should make it. It's going to be tight. So Squeezy Lemon has set his lap and has found the gravel trap. He goes up into P5. We'll have to have a look and see who else is on a lap right now. Lighty is also on a lap as we start to see drivers retire from the session.
Oh, Dan Sinclair goes around.
Well, let's have a look there. Yes, he's in the gravel and he's down into P7, and that is his lap over. And he knows that. He'll be so frustrated with that. as Traw now goes fastest, 1:31.5. Traw has beaten Blizzard right now by 0.02 of a second, and he gets another go. Blizzard here trying to go a long way around here. Technique heading towards the line again. He's used 2 outlaps here rather than 1. Lambo out there as well. Siege heading towards the line. He will only get 1 shot here. Technique actually retires from the session, so he retires in 3rd place. Let's have a look and see some drivers heading towards the line then. Siege is on his way around. That is Poe, who crosses the line, takes the checkered flag and goes P9. Who else have we got out there? We've got Weed Nation heading towards the line and goes P13. 1:32.6 for him. Spike on full attack right now. He needs to get himself higher than P19. Blizzard, so much understeer. Oh, he's lost the back end. Can he keep it in check? Will he abandon the lap though, as he heads through 6 and 7 now? Sorry, 7 and 8. He lost the back end there, and he's still going to carry on though. Lambo heading towards turn 15 now, as he heads towards the final corner of this track. And we'll have to see now what sort of lap time he can get. Can he get onto the 2nd row? Can he get himself ahead of Siege? Maybe ahead of Blizzard as he heads towards the line. He goes P4, out-qualifies Technique for now. We've got Lighty on a flying lap, Crazy as well. But where is Spike? Spike is right behind Crazy as well. So let's have a look with Lighty as he heads towards the line then. Crosses the line and goes P8, 1:31.8. for Light E. Here comes Crazy Legs then. P11 for Crazy Legs. What about Spike then, as he heads towards the line and he goes top, 1:31.3. But then Blizzard instantly trumps him with a 1:31.1. What an absolutely fantastic lap from Blizzard. Spike for a brief moment there had pole position, but it is Blizzard once again who will take pole position for the Malaysian Grand Prix.
And I think B-Tech might have just kicked in right there for Blizzard. He just did a flying lap.
Yeah, absolutely. That is an incredible lap from Blizzard. And once again, he's the man leading the pack down into turn 1.
And so how many poles now is that this season for Blizzard?
You know what? I've lost count, but you can see there the the top 12 are covered by a second. So Blizzard is top, Spike 2nd, Traw 3rd, Siege 4th, Lambo 5th, Technique 6th, Squeezy in 7th, Darren Sinclair starting in 8th, Lighty 9th, Poe 10th, The Gore in 11th, Crazy in 12th, Ollie in 13th, Maze 14th, Weed Nation 15th, Z3 16th, Damien 17th, Alan K 18th, Plaster 19th, and Steph is starting from 20th, who did not set a time. Oh, 20 drivers in 15 seconds. See if you can beat that, Noah.
I probably cannot.
I was so scared I was going to make a mistake there going through that list of drivers there, but there we go. So the rain looms there, as that is a very interesting view coming into the pit lane as all the cars pile on top of each other. Well, here we are again, round number 15. And well, after this race we'll be at the three-quarter mark of the season, and how much will the gap be at the top? Blizzard has to just keep his head here because Darren Sinclair is starting from 8th place. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting race, Noah, that's for sure.
Yes, and I think there are some people who are really good in the rain that will just be so excited for it to come and maybe just try to jump Blizzard and get the win. And how much practice do you think some of these people did coming up to this race in the rain?
Well, I think quite a few drivers would have done a lot of practice, especially in the race simulation part, to see exactly when they would have to switch over to a set of intermediate tyres and when to switch back. So let's have a look at the detail then. Let's get some tyres up then, and we can see then obviously the top 10 start on the tyres they qualified on. The Gort will be starting on a set of soft tyres, Crazy in 12th will be starting on super softs. Ollie and Mays 13th, 14th will both be starting on a set of soft tyres. Weed Nation starting on a set of super softs, hoping to try and carve his way through the field. Z3 on a set of soft tyres, as is Damien in 17th. Alan K is going to try a set of medium tyres towards this rain stint. Plaster there on the soft tyres, and Steph at the back of the grid here is going to be starting on those medium tyres. So both Renaults, Noah, starting on the medium tyre. That's an interesting call. That seems like a team strategy there.
With these risky strategy calls, and I think they may just be trying to run this out to the rain stint, pay off on the intermediate, and then when it is just the right time to switch over, they might just swap over to either super softs or softs.
Absolutely. Well, Spike is on a mission to prove himself here. As just have a look at the table at the moment, he's currently in 5th place with 126 points. Now, he'll be wanting to try and make the charge as much as possible, but with 6 races to go, including this one, that means there's 125 points up for grabs. Mathematically then, Spike is still in it, but only mathematically. After this race though, that could be a very different story as he lines up onto the grid here. But as the drivers basically go in formation down this long back straight, we are moments away from the start of the Malaysian Grand Prix. And, well, Steph right at the back here, just trying to get some heat into those medium tyres. The hardest tyre you can try and get heat into. So this is going to be very interesting then for Steph as... Oh, that's a bit of a collision there. I think Steph's AI took over before anybody else's, so that was an interesting one. But there we are then, all the cars then heading towards the grid now. This is going to be one heck of a race as we line up on the grid then. Who is going to take the win here at Malaysia? Moments away now. Good shot of the crowd there. Here we are then. The tension even in the commentary box is something else. But here we are then for the Malaysian Grand Prix. 5 red lights. Round 15 is underway, and what are the starts like? Well, it looks like a Sauber there of Draw got a fantastic start now. They're going to try and make it 3 wide, the 3 leaders here, as they head towards turn 1. There's a Toro Rosso there, maybe trying to have a look. Spike goes around the outside, and he's taken the lead here. Blizzard struggling here, as now Draw's trying to go down the inside of Blizzard here, as they head towards turn 2 now. Bit of carnage behind us there. Let's have a look and see what happened. We've got... the Gort off, Ollie off as well, and that looks like a little bit of front wing damage. Maybe not in the long run then. Here comes the pack ploughing towards turn number 4. Mays here is doing a good job here, trying to carve his way back through the field as he's trying to go up the inside here, heading towards 5 and 6. And the drivers here looking to just try and keep each other, or keep out of each other's way here. As Steph here has had a mega start. He's up to 13th from the back of the grid and could have a move on Mays here as they head towards turn 9, Noah.
Yes, and we are having some amazing battles back in the pack, and it looks like we may have some 3 wide battles. This is just one bunched up pack, and it has just put out amazing racing.
Absolutely. Siege must have made a mistake there because he dropped all the way down to 9th place. Meanwhile, Lighty on the inside of Crazy there. Can't quite make that move stick. And with a little bit of lag in this lobby, it's always difficult now to try and make those moves, especially in a 20-car pack. Meanwhile, then, Spike has taken the lead of the Malaysian Grand Prix. Blizzard under threat from Draw here as they head towards turn 15 for the first time. And Draw here trying to go around the outside. Blizzard trying to defend that inside line. Draw here could get a better exit. Lambo is always waiting there, as is Darren Sinclair, up 2 positions from his starting position. 3 positions, actually, my mistake. And look at the pack of cars here. All 20 of them, I believe, on this straight now. And that is Draw here. Is he going to try and make a move? He has to defend from Lambo now, heading into turn 1. And now Lambo might have an opportunity going into turn 2. He's going to think about it. He definitely thinks about it. Now around the outside, going towards turn 3 now. And it's all about the traction on the exit here. Meanwhile, Blizzard, is he going to try and move on Spike up into turn 4? No, he doesn't. Traw has to try and keep defending from Lambo here. And at the moment, Spike still leads the way in this Grand Prix. Look at them.
And I already see people in lean mix, so I mean, we could see some strategy calls right here.
Absolutely. Darren Sinclair, though, is on a charge as that's Lambo running wide there. And he's lost 2 positions there, one to Darren Sinclair and one to Squeezy Lemon, and that's a challenge for the lead then. Blizzard and Spike heading into turn 9, through turn 10 they go, and then towards turn 11. Spike on the inside though, and he should retain that position. Traw though is looking very, very ominously on as he wants to try and capitalise on any mistakes. As Blizzard here trying to now go around the outside of Spike, and oh, that's Traw gone wide there. That might have cost him a position here to Darren Sinclair. It's definitely cost him an exit there. Darren Sinclair could be looking for a move, as Squeezy Lemon we see here trying to hold off Lambo. Meanwhile, Lighty and Crazy Legs here trying to go side by side down towards turn 15 here. And will Crazy Legs manage to find that way past? Lighty though is not having any of it. He wants that position. Meanwhile, right ahead of them, we've got DRS enabled, and meanwhile, Squeezy Lemon and Lambo side by side now. That's a Ferrari gone into the pits. Williams there went very wide there, as we've got Squeezy Lemon and Lambo here fighting over position right now. And there's yellow flags out. Is that Technique Gaming? No, I don't think it is. I think I got a little bit overexcited there, Noah. It has been a while, I will admit, but Blizzard here.
We already have 2 people in the pits and maybe a 3rd entering.
Yeah, that's Alan K, Weed Nation and Ollie all in the pits right now. Meanwhile, Lighty is struggling right now. He's still trying to get past Crazy Legs, but can't find that way past. He's now under threat from Siege now, as Poe is right behind them as well. And you can see how much more difficult the lag makes it to try and make an overtake, because they could be there, they might not be there. Siege, though, has made his way past Lighty, though, in the midst of that. As we see now heading towards the front of the pack, this top 4 here, it's not going to give each other any space whatsoever. And well, we should be looking at a fantastic race. I wonder now, Noah, when the rain will fall.
Well, I think it will start falling pretty soon here. I'd say in the next 10 to 15 minutes, because you can see the clouds in the sky starting to develop.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's Lambo and Squeezy Lemon battling over 5th place right now. Meanwhile, right up ahead, that's a battle for the lead. Blizzard and Spike having to go side by side here. And once again, Blizzard trying to make that move stick. He can't quite make it. We've still got all 20 drivers in this race, and Blizzard here is looking for a way past. And Spike is not making that easy for him whatsoever. Did he make more than one move, Spike, there? We'll have to wait and see what happens there. But Blizzard now down the inside going into turn 2. Hand comes up there from Blizzard, contact made. And they are not giving each other any room out there whatsoever. Blizzard round the outside of Spike here. Can't quite make the move stick. Draw here might have a go coming towards turn 4. But no dice. They stay one behind each other for now then. And I just saw the rain there. This is it now. The rain is starting to fall. So where does this play into?
Well, you can see that all the top 4, they're so bunched together, and I think you can at least run about like 4 laps on these tires before you just start to struggle.
Oh, Blizzard runs wide there. That's an opening here for Traw to try and have a look here. Blizzard looking pretty vulnerable at the moment. That's unlike him. As the rain starts to fall, as you say, that grip will fall away pretty rapidly, maybe over the next 3 or 4 laps. Darren Sinclair, though, is definitely in with a shout here. We have Siege chasing Crazy Legs, and the highest soft runner at the moment is Maze. And oh, that's Siege losing the back end there. Oh, very, very lucky to keep that in check there. He loses a position, but it could have been so much worse. And Crazy Legs has done exactly the same thing. I think he did a Sergio Perez of all those years ago. And now he finds himself behind Poe. Now coming towards turn 15 now. Can he make that move stick? Up the inside he goes. And Poe just outbrakes Crazy Legs, but Poe leaves that inside door open. And Crazy Legs really wants that position here. Siege dropping to 9th place. Ahead of Lighty though. And, well, we'll see a very interesting battle for that midfield here. Meanwhile, Blizzard and Spike still battling for position here, as are Traw and Darren Sinclair. There's battles all over the field. This is incredible stuff here. Blizzard still can't find that way past Spike here. And every lap, every corner that Blizzard is behind Spike, he's going to get more and more frustrated.
And it really looks like this rain is starting to come down. And it's Malaysia, what can you expect? Rain just seems to fall really fast. And these top 4 are so close bunched together that I feel like if they just make a little mistake, someone's going to end up with damage or out of it.
Trying to gallop away here, and is that Lighty struggling out there for grip? as he is on the super soft tyres. Now, the super soft tyres do seem to lose grip more than the medium tyres when it starts to rain. That's just because of the compound of the tyre. So we may see Mays here having an opportunity to maybe close the gap on Siege, and maybe Steph here. Remember, Steph started from the back of the grid here. He's up into P11 right now. So let's have a look at the where's that I want to look at? There we go, position changes. So the biggest winner, as I said, is Steph here. He's up 9 places from his starting position. That's a fantastic start from him. The biggest loser in all of this, though, is Technique Gaming. He's down 10 places from his start place. But long way to go in this race, and a lot can happen, including this rain stint here. As we've got a load of drivers down this back straight here, and oh, that's a Mercedes losing the back end. That was the Gort in the background, and that is Spike now. As you can see, there's so little grip going into turn 1 now that Spike just understeered, and again Blizzard understeers into Spike there. There is just so little grip out there. It's all about that throttle control, all about getting the right lines on those dry tyres. This will be very exciting. Who blinks first? Here comes Traw, though. Is he going to try and move down the inside of Blizzard here? Definitely thinks about it, tries to keep a wing in there. Oh, Spike's lost it. Spike lost the back end and has lost a load of positions. He's down into 4th place now. Unbelievable. Blizzard here takes back the lead.
We've already had one person up the road, so how long do you think before we see the leaders come in the pit?
Well, as Lambo tries to make a move on Spike here, I can't think it's going to be much longer on these dry tyres. It could be in the next lap or two. It all depends on who blinks first. Now, Blizzard is the leading car right now, which is the worst thing you can do when you're in a situation like this, because you have to decide whether or not you're going on a set of intermediates, and the drivers behind you can react to you. Or if they think it's time and you don't, then you're in a load of trouble if they prove to be right. So it's just that pressure here. Spike again losing positions here as he drops now to 6th place. I think it's time.
And I think there was a little bit of contact between him and Lambo. Spike was just completely sideways.
There you are, DRS disabled. So this is the time now. Intermediates are the tyre of choice. So get ready. All the crews here will be looking for those intermediate tyres. Double stacking may be needed here, as everybody will come in now for a set of intermediate tyres. Blizzard, of course, will lead the way, and I wonder if he gets held up in the pits. You can see that everyone coming in for a set of intermediate tyres, and everyone.
Mercedes picture is going to be busy.
Absolutely. As the Maze will be served, then the Gort, and oh, that's Blizzard there having to change a bit of front wing. Well, Siege is in as well. Who will get away first? Darren Sinclair gets away. Traw will rejoin in the lead at this race. So Traw leads out of the pit lane. Darren Sinclair 2nd, as we should see Spike in 3rd place. Yes, we do. Spike is in 3rd place. Blizzard is 4th. Siege rejoins in 5th. Steph, what a fantastic job from the Renault crew. He's now up into 6th place. This is a fantastic race for Steph right now. Squeezy is in 7th. Crazy in 8th. Lambo, big loss for him. He's down to 9th. Maze is in 10th now. Lighty 11th. And Technic Gaming, who came in early for a set of intermediate tyres, got himself into 12th place. So good job from him then, and good job from the Toro Rosso boys to get him into that position then. So a leader change then. Traw is in the lead of the Malaysian Grand Prix.
That is just an amazing job by the pit crew on that car. But they were able to jump Blizzard in that whole pit stop, and Blizzard also, if you don't mind, made a front wing change.
Yeah, absolutely, and he did get held in the pits as well, so that is all going to add up towards the end of this race. We'll have a look and see the gap between each driver rather than the gap to the leader, because it's always good to see where the battles are happening. Meanwhile, Lambo here is trying to get past Crazy Legs here, and does exactly that, heading into turn 9. Lambo now up into 8th place then, as he looks to try and recover that time he lost in the pits.
So do you think with this rain, dive bombs are out of the question?
Well, I wouldn't say they're out of the question, but you'd have to be very, very brave to try it, as Blizzard there loses the back end, gets on that curb and loses that back end. Very, very good car control in the end to keep it on the track, but it's lost him a good amount of time there, as Z3 picks himself up a 3-second time penalty. As the field gets a little bit more spread out now, battles at the moment. Squeezy Lemon and Steph trying to battle into turn 15. Steph trying to hold on to P6 for all he can, and he does exactly that. Squeezy battling with Steph, opens up Lambo to try and have a move down the main straight then. This could be a 3-wide battle into turn 1 if they're not careful. Squeezy will try and go around the outside heading into turn 1, and Lambo trying to go down the inside as they did try to go 3-wide there. No dice was happening there, and they all backed out of it before anything bad happened there. Oh, that's contact! Oh, sorry about that. That was contact between Squeezy and Lambo there, as Lambo tried to stick his front wing in there, and now he's under threat from Crazy Legs heading up into turn 4. Crazy Legs trying to keep his front wing in the matter there, and well, just didn't quite get the exit there. Lambo and Squeezy very, very lucky there to neither of them get any damage and both of them to stay out of the wall. Oh, and that's Blizzard here who's struggling now because Steph has just passed him. Steph is now up into 5th place. Blizzard is struggling here. This is not what he wants. Obviously, he's got the setup for the dry and it really favours him in the dry. But when it starts to rain, you can just see the setup not working for Blizzard more than anybody else. But here he now goes trying to go down the inside of Steph there, and a little bit of contacts made there as he just tries desperately to get past again. And that's the thing with Blizzard though, if he's behind you, he doesn't want to be behind you for long, and well, that can pay dividends, but it can also be the end of you as Steph runs wide. Oh, that is running wide into turn 14. Got a load of oversteer as just the car wouldn't well, understeer and then oversteer, as the car just didn't want to turn in at all there. Just tried to take too much speed into turn 13 and 14 there, and Steph back down to 8th place. Noah, I'm hardly giving you a chance to speak.
Yeah, and I can see the sun starting to peek through the clouds, so the storm is moving on. But I don't think it's going to be moving on that fast. So these drivers are going to probably get used to the rain. And Blizzard, everyone is just closing on him. Lemon, Lambo, and there's a little bit of a tank lap between Lemon and Steph.
Yeah, Steph is starting to struggle in these conditions, and just needs to take it easy, have a little bit of a level head here as Crazy Legs tries to go down the inside of Steph then, and a little bit of contact made between them, but Crazy makes the move stick and he is up into 8th place. Steph is struggling. He is really struggling here. Maybe he didn't turn up the front wing or something, but he is really struggling out here, Noah.
Yes, because this rain, it makes your car so loose. You need such a good setup with downforce that'll make your car want to stick to the track, and with these dry setups you want it loose, and when you're running a loose setup in the wet, that just does not favor, and that's what I think Blizzard's running into.
Absolutely. Here comes Stephen Mays here. Steph could be losing another position here to the Mercedes driver of Mays, and this will drop him down to 10th place. Can Mays stay up the inside as they head towards turn 11 here? A little bit of contact made and they're both off. Mays is off, Steph is off, and Steph waiting up here. He wants Mays to go through, and they're causing a little bit of a traffic jam here as they head towards 13 and 14. Steph then backing off and loses all of those positions there. A little bit of contact now between Technique and Light E, was that? I believe it was. But Steph here has really struggled. In the space of a couple of laps, he's found himself, well, in the space of exactly 1 lap, he's found himself from 5th place outside of the points, Noah.
Yes, and it is just proving how much he is struggling on these wet conditions. I bet he will be so excited when we finally move back to dry and we can start making up these spots again.
Absolutely. In the meantime, though, he's trying to battle with Light E here, and he has done just that. Poe behind them as well. Mays here is